In the world of programming, efficiency is key. One of the fundamental tools that C# provides for repeating actions is the for loop. This lesson will introduce you to the concept of for loops, how to use them effectively, and their importance in programming. Don't worry if this feels new at first. This section covers understanding the for loop. A for loop is a control flow statement that allows you to execute a block of code multiple times. It's particularly useful when in advance how many times you want to execute a statement or a block of statements. The basic syntax of a for loop in C# is as follows. The samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. Now, components of a for loop. Each for loop consists of three main components. First, initialization. This is where you declare and initialize your loop control variable. It runs once before the loop starts. Also, condition. Before each iteration, this condition is evaluated. If it evaluates to true, the code within the loop executes. If false, the loop ends. Finally, increment. This modifies the loop control variable after each iteration. It typically increases or decreases the variable to eventually meet the condition. Let's move on to example of a for loop. Let's look at a simple example where we print the numbers from 1 to 5 using a for loop. Review the class shown on screen and how its members are organized. In this example, first, the initialization is int I equals 1, starting our loop variable I at 1. Also, the condition is I, which allows the loop to run as long as I is less than or equal to 5. Finally, the increment is I++, which increases I by 1 after each iteration. Now, when to use for loops. For loops are particularly useful in scenarios such as, first, iterating through arrays or collections. Also, performing repeated calculations. Finally, when the number of iterations is known beforehand. However, for loops may not be the best choice if you're iterating through collections where the number of elements can change or when using a more complex iteration condition. In this lesson, you learned how to use for loops in C#. You explored the syntax, components, and practical examples of for loops. This fundamental tool allows you to repeat actions efficiently and is essential for writing clean, effective code. Now put what you've learned into practice. First, modify the example to print the numbers from 1 to 10. Also, create a for loop that prints the even numbers between 2 and 20. Also, write a for loop that computes the sum of numbers from 1 to 100 and prints the result. Finally, experiment with a for loop to create a simple multiplication table for the number 5.